This is an incredibly nuanced issue. It's an incredibly important issue. We're not talking just about numbers. We're talking about people's livelihoods. We should not be rushing this by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I do appreciate that, and I just wanted to remind them to move forward. I'm managing members who have other commitments and things, so I'm just trying to remind people to get their points across.
Commitments, Senator. Right. We are talking about the lives of people in the state of Michigan. It doesn't matter what our commitments are. It matters what our commitment is to them. We should take as much time as necessary to get this right. We've got the experts from ORS in front of us. They're telling us that in 1997, we had 100% fund balance on our DB plan. We moved to DC. Here we are 20 years later, we're at 60%. So we know after 20 years of experience, we moved from DB to DC, we're moving from a 100% funded plan to a 60% funded plan. So this is not the stability that we should be looking for as legislators. We've got folks from a libertarian think tank in California telling us that the 40-year amortization plan is unprecedented across the entire country. We've had senators come before us and say this is going to open up more money for the classroom. Well, the experts disagree. The experts are telling us this will be less money in the classroom. It's going to cost more, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars on the upfront, and additional costs in the long term. The liabilities are greater, the risks are greater, and after all of that information, we're stuck with the knowledge that I could be retiring with $124,000 in the bank, $36,000 in the bank after a career with the state of Michigan. We could sit here and talk about, trying to get this right, trying to manage our unfunded liabilities, and I think that is a great thing. I think we, as legislators, do have a responsibility to address those unfunded liabilities. I support that. But anybody can balance a fund. Anybody can balance a budget. If you just cut. The question that we're not asking ourselves is what type of a retirement, what type of a livelihood do we want to provide for Michigan workers? We may be able to get our unfunded liabilities down to zero if we ask our retirees to live in poverty, if we ask our retirees to work until they're dead. That's not something that I want on my conscience. That's not something that I want on my heart. We have expert after expert after expert telling us that this is a mistake. We've got the state of West Virginia who moved from DB to DC and 15 years later went back because it was such a mistake. Everything that's being laid out in front of us, all the data, all the numbers, point to this is a hasty decision, this is a misguided decision, and I would ask my colleagues to think about that as we move forward.